Welcome to the girls. Today I have one of my favorite guests on, a returning guest, the Chief Donald Leshko. He is the fire chief of the whole Hazleton area, and we have had so many great shows with you, so many great conversations.
We have?
Yes, and the burning topic today, no pun intended, is I want to know, from all the things that we did with you and all the education you've given us, we visited the firehouse, we donned the equipment, we went into a burning building, which was frightening.
That was the worst show I've ever done in my life. Every time someone asks me, hey, what's your favorite show, or what show do you remember?
This is it.
This is the, we have to show this video.
Oh, this is different. The reason why you couldn't see you up there, there's a lot of heat. If you can't see, just take the glove and wipe your face off.
All right, let's do this quick.
Oh, good. Let's thermal imaging.
Okay.
You see how you stay up?
Yeah.
All right, you stay up.
Oh, yeah, get her out. She's gonna pass out. She's gonna pass out.
Oh, you know.
That was terrifying because Mom, literally, first of all, that equipment was so heavy.
Well, you got like a panic attack too, but I had the equipment on.
No, that was you.
And they had us get down low, because you stay low, and we were holding the hose and fighting the fire, and I was leading the way, holding this hose. Well, once I got down, I couldn't get back up. I was like,
She couldn't breathe. She couldn't breathe. I was like, Mom!
I could breathe, I just couldn't get back up. But you were squawking about it so much that they couldn't hear what I was saying.
Okay,
because we
Donald?
had the little thing. Honest to
Donald?
God, I could not get back
Clear
up.
the air, Donald.
All right, so that's the thing. Well, what the heck happens when you're in a building? You tell us, stop, drop, and roll. Feel the door.
You're
if
not going
the
to have
door
that
is hot.
equipment on when something happens in your house.
But feel the door. If it's hot, don't open it. But now let me ask you this question. How the heck do you get out? How do you get out of a burning building?
Well, the most important thing is we tell everyone to make sure they keep their doors closed. You know, everybody sleeps, they keep their doors closed, and they keep, the room sealed. But most important thing we tell everyone is make sure you touch the back of the door. You know, if you hear your smoke alarm going off, you touch the back of the door. If it's warm, you're not going to open it. You don't want to open that door. You want to honestly open the window and start hollering for help. That's the most important. That's the way they're getting out. You're going out through your window, and if you're above the second floor, you're going to holler for help for somebody. That way, at least when the fire department arrives, they know that's the first job they're going to do is get you out of there.
How else can you get out of your house and of that window if there is no one to call?
That's the most important. That's the thing is that's why we tell everyone to, if that door is warm, you don't want to open it. Because you're going to be bringing all that superheated gas into there, smoke, gas, heat. And honestly, once that hits your body, you're that'll take you out. Yeah, that'll knock you down. The heat that'll knock you to the ground because that superheated gas you're going to breathe in. You're going to take that deep breath.
Is that what they mean by backdraft?
Yep. Well, no. That's just that gas rushing into your room. Okay. It's all that superheated gas. It's coming into your lungs. You're going to breathe all that in, and that's going to really incapacitate you and make you not move. You're just going to drop you to the floor, and all. That's why it's most important to get to a window, open that window and start hollering for help. Yell for help, screaming. That's the most important. We tell everyone that you want to get to that room. And you want to also stay low because at the end of, remember, as we tell the kids when we go to school, all the bad areas at the top, all the good areas at the bottom. So we can't stress this enough. Now, if you feel the back of that door in your hand and the door's cool and there's no hot air, you can open that door and proceed. But again, you want to stay low. You want to stay as close to the ground as possible, as close to the floor. And bottom line is make sure you know your home. I mean, everybody looks at me sometimes when I tell them that, and even the adults, know your home. And people will say, I know my home. I said, well, shut all your lights off in your house at nighttime and walk around in it completely dark.
Oh, gosh.
See how well you know your home. And it's surprising because there's a lot of people say to me, oh, you're right. I mean, listen, I know in my own house, I shut my lights off at nighttime, you're going to bed, you're walking up the steps, it's dark. You're walking into things.
Yeah, know how many steps you have. My dad of course, was a fireman, so we were raced, closed those bedroom doors, and we had a fire extinguisher in our bedroom.
Yep.
We had a flashlight, and we were able to open our windows. You have to make sure, because some older homes, the windows are painted shut.
Exactly.
And then we also had a roof to get out onto in our home where we live now. But the one bedroom that didn't had the fire ladder. So, I mean, are those important things to have in your
And
bedroom?
that is also a very good point to bring up. You just brought up a great point, was the fire ladder. You know, your second floor bedrooms, your third floor bedrooms, they sell them. They sell fire ladders. You know, a lot of these more modern apartment buildings, they have windows that fully open. You know, you're able to get out. They have escapes. You know, apartment buildings now, when they're constructing, they got to have two ways to get out of the building. You know, anything above that second or third floor needs to have 2 ways out.
What should parents and guardians be concerned with when their kids are going to either back to college and they have apartments, or maybe their children have just graduated, or their children are going off to a new home, a new apartment,
Most important thing, Janine, and I stress this, no matter if you're at home, you're going to somewhere away, working smoke detectors.
Right.
That's number one. Working smoke detectors, working CO detector. And also, you know, when they're moving into apartments, if something happens, how are they getting out? You know, if it's on that second or third floor, is there 2 ways out? Is there, you know, a way out? You know, no matter where you are in that apartment, is there 2 ways to get out of that apartment? You know, is the exits open? You know, and basically, it's how safe is the building? You know, as a parent, you're going to know right away, because you making your home safe, you want where your children are going to be very safe. So you want to make sure you know, and your children are very well educated to know if something happens, how to get out and where to go, you know, and also, you know, make sure, you know, bottom line is you activate 911 when you get out. You got to call 911.
Do they do fire drills anymore? I mean, when I was in school, they had fire drills once a week.
In the schools, they still do fire drills. They got to do them every so often. They have to do that. That's per state law. They need to do fire drills. But when you get sometimes to these older buildings and colleges and all that, sometimes that doesn't necessarily happen sometimes. So that's why it's important that, again, you understand that you, as you know, when you're there with your child, make sure they know, you know, how to get out, where to go, and where to meet.
Oh my God, you're giving me stress. I feel like I'm on fire.
You
Just
have to
listen.
send them to school armed and dangerous.
I tell them,
Make sure they
these
have the
kids think they're
flashlight.
invincible. And you know, mom and dad, if your kids are 19, 20, 21, they think they're invincible.
I know, but-
So you shove I send it to their home. What's your apartment number? And I send them these things, and they're like, Mom, none of my friends, your friends' moms care. Don't worry, they do.
Exactly, and your
They
friends
care.
will thank you if, God forbid, there's
Yeah,
a fire.
that you're the one that's putting their
Exactly.
safety first.
Yeah, you have to crawl down that hallway, and you're counting how many doors and whatever. And I know I have 14 steps in my house because I count them every night when I go up to bed. It's a good habit to know how many steps you have.
And we all know, I mean, listen, and what I always say is, listen, nobody's immune to fire. Nobody's immune to danger. You know, just because, you know, but I mean, the safer the building your child's going to stay in, the better off you're going to be.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we're talking about fire safety with Donald Leshko. He is the chief for the city of Hazleton in Pennsylvania. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching the girls here on SSP TV. We are keeping you safe. Now, there's some homework for you. You do it to keep yourself safe, and I tell my kids this. It takes 3 seconds to get I can't believe how many people don't have a CO detector. I can't believe how many people don't have smoke detectors outside each of their rooms. And I know we've learned that. It should be out of each of your bedrooms, one on each floor. And I have mine, and I test them. But it's very important. My kids think I'm obsessive, but I'd rather be obsessive with safety.
That's true.
You'll go out there and buy 16 pairs of shoes. You can go out there and buy 7 smoke
Exactly
detectors.
right.
Exactly.
Right?
It can never be too safe.
Exactly. I mean, and especially, you know, we don't want to talk about winter because I'm not in winter mood yet. I'm ready.
It feels like winter.
It feels like winter sometimes. But most important thing is, again, we stress the importance of smoke detectors. We stress the importance of having a working CO detector. Remember, CO gas is odorless, tasteless, colorless. It's a silent killer. You know, we that's in everything we know. It's a silent killer. It can, you know, you'll never know what's happening. But if you have a combustion-fired furnace, such as gas, oil, coal, you need to have that unit serviced.
Where should the CO2 unit
So
go?
your CO detector, you should have one. You know, you should have one on every floor.
Where?
But
Where on the floor? Does it
basement,
matter?
somewhere generally in the basement, in a ceiling area, but also somewhere on the first floor. You know, and more importantly, if you only get one CO detector, keep it on your first floor.
In
keep
the
it
kitchen?
in your kitchen. Keep it somewhere near your basement door, wherever your heating unit, wherever the doorway that leads to your heating unit. You want to, you know, if it's going to your basement, keep it somewhere near there.
Are the best ones the one that plug in, or
They're
the
plug-in ones or battery ones are both very good. They both work the same. They get the job done, but it's so important to make sure you have them. Now, also you want to check that CO detector, because bottom line is after so many years, they do go bad and you have to replace them. So if your CO detector, you know, you have your CO detector in your house and you're sitting there going, oh, it's probably like 8 or 9 years I've had it, you should think about replacing it, because at some point it might cause an issue. Now, that's why it's so important to make sure you get that checked. But again, it's also the importance of when you have your heating unit serviced, as I tell everyone, you get your oil changed in your car every so many thousand
I had
miles.
mine checked today, by the way.
There you go. So it's important. You got to have your heating unit serviced. Have it checked, have it cleaned, have a heating technician come in, go over it, make sure your chimney, your flues, everything's working properly, your power venter is working properly. And that way you will have, you know, that's the best possible thing you can do for your home to make sure everything, prevention. You know, a little bit of ounce of prevention goes a long way for an ounce of safety. And again, having working CO detectors, smoke detectors, you know, as we change the clocks, change your batteries. You know, we can't stress that enough. You know, make sure all that is working and properly installed. And the other thing is, you know, in today's day and age, you know, we had the people will take the batteries out. Sometimes now they get the sealed units. After 10 years, the detector has to be replaced. It's a sealed battery. You can't take it out of it. But that's so important. That's one good thing is your children go back to school and they're staying, you know, in college and all that. In these buildings, that sometimes a lot of landlords will put those sealed batteries in there, so the detectors are new. But as a parent, you want to question that, make sure that that is working, that it's properly. And also, it sounds crazy, you know, and some parents look at me and I say, well, ask the landlord when was the last time they changed their batteries. Do they have a record? They're supposed to have a record when they change their batteries. That's one good thing as a parent that you can ask when your child's moving out. Say, well, who does the maintenance on these? Who checks these? You know, but also tell your children, listen, if you need a battery, don't go take it out of it.
I get a marker when I get a new CO2 and I mark
Yep.
it, and then I know
Exactly.
when
Put
I
the
put it
date
up,
on it.
because how could you remember? And if you have a calendar that you threw away that you marked the calendar, who knows? Even on your phone, you
Yep.
get a new phone, and where are all these dates?
Check the battery.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I just check off
Extension cords.
Extension cords. That's a great one. Everybody wants to go to the dollar store. And I'm not saying it, but everybody wants to go buy that cheap extension cord. Bottom line is buy a good extension cord. Make sure you're buying a cord that's going to supply what you need, especially if you're plugging in a little refrigerator or microwave, any type of appliances. You want to get a good extension cord. You don't want to buy a thin wire extension cord and think it's going to power your refrigerator.
So does it need that big 3-prong?
Yeah, you need that 3-prong adapter with the ground and the 2 ends on it.
And does it need a label on it that
And it
is
needs a label
UL?
that's UL approved. Exactly. You get a UL approved extension cord, you have a solid cord that's going to work for you and supply and work in what it's being used for. You don't want to go get those, you know, 2-prong extension cords and think you're going to power a refrigerator, a microwave, and, you know, the toaster oven off it and think it's going to work.
Or just stacking.
Or just stacking things. Keep plugging them in. You know, everybody wants to add that extension. You know, plug everything into one outlet. You know, that's why kitchens, you know, have multiple outlets. You know, spread that around, because that's why the circuits are set up that way to support that. But again, you want to get a good quality UL certified cord that'll work out best.
Batteries as well.
Batteries. One big thing is I see anymore is lithium-ion batteries. You know, make sure you're buying. You know, if you have to replace a lithium-ion battery in something, you know, make sure you know where you're buying it from. Go to a reputable store. You know, some of these online stores you're buying them, we don't know where the batteries are coming from.
There are different batteries.
Oh yeah. You know, you'll see you know, and listen, everybody's that bargain shopper today. So they go on, you know, and they go on the online sales sites. I'm not going to say them. We all know them, but you go on there and you'll be like, well, I could get this battery for $19, but yet this place is selling the battery for $70.
Can you get those at the dollar store if it says like Energizer or?
Those batteries,
name
yes.
brands.
Yeah,
So the
name
name
brands.
brands
Yeah,
are gonna be
Energizers,
okay.
Duracells, that's a good
What
solid
about
battery.
the generic ones that they
The generic ones, they are, I mean, I haven't heard any issues with them, so they are a good battery. But, you know, but you want to try to stay with a reputable, solid battery, you know, a name brand battery that is going to work for you and is going to be there to last you long. But, you know, also, you know, if you have a lot of, everything's battery operated today. So you have a lot of lithium-ion batteries. You know, if you're going online and you say, oh, I need a new battery for my power tool, I'm just going to go on a site and buy it. Well, there's a reason why that battery, some batteries only cost $13 and some are $70-some. I think you want to lean towards a $70-some battery because it's probably made properly for that device, and also it's not going to cause you a headache down the road.
And what about recharging those lithium batteries?
Recharging lithium batteries, make sure you do it in a safe area, and especially if you have electric scooters. We see that's a big craze anymore. Electric scooters, electric bikes. If you're going to charge it outside. Don't charge it in your home. There's a reason why.
Why?
You don't, because that battery can run away and it can cause a fire. It can cause a fire. It can cause a destruction. I mean, and that's why, the city of New York right now, that's a big thing. They've had lithium-ion batteries start fires and actually, take the lives of people, because those fires, when those batteries run away, they just cause massive destruction and fast. It's rapid.
Well, I hope you're taking notes, because there's a lot of things you could be looking around your house. None of those generic batteries, none of those generic cords.
Exactly.
When we come back, what about light bulbs and other things that we have in our house? We'll be right back. You're watching The Girls here on SSP TV.
Welcome back to The Girls. We're continuing on with Chief Leshko, Fire Department in Hazleton. We're talking about fire safety. We have a checklist.
We're on fire. We're on fire with our questions.
It's the burning issue. Janine's burning up over.
Oh my
She just
God,
got
I
done
was yelling at
texting
my
her
kids
son.
through text. You better check that window. You better check that AC. You better check that CO detector, fire detectors, right?
First department for him, and there's
Let
so
me see
many
those
things they have to
batteries.
check. The checklist. What's next on the list? Power cords,
Power
extensions.
cords, extensions.
Power
So we talked about
cords,
extension cords.
light
The big thing, power strips. Again, that's most important. You want to buy a reputable power strip. You don't want to, you want to buy UL rated power strip.
Those are the ones that have the little switch on, off and on.
And that's everything. And the thing is, anything you buy, you want to make sure it's UL approved. I mean, a lot of stuff, everything is UL approved. So anything you're buying electronically, that plugs in or anything like that, you want to make sure it's UL approved.
What does UL approved mean?
That's Underwriters Laboratory, so it went through a vigorous test. So
Okay.
that means it is approved by Underwriters Laboratory, which is the independent laboratory to test everything.
What about cords that are plugged in and nothing's in them?
Well, it's a good thing. So everybody has a cell phone charger. They all plug their cell phones in, and we're all in a hurry. Everybody's in a rush to go somewhere, so we unplug our cell phone, we leave that cord plugged in. Well, there still could be a current in that cord. Now, it's not going to say it's going to do anything, but you keep walking on that cord, you walk over it, you're in a bedroom, you walk over it 5 times, it gets caught between, a cupboard, it's get pushed against. That can cause damage and could fail and cause a fire. So bottom line is when you unplug your cell phone, unplug that cord.
What about the type of cord? Can you buy like a generic cord from like a Walmart or a...
You can. I mean, I'm not saying that they don't sell all good cords. But again, you want to make sure that when you're using it, you're unplugging it. Make sure it's right for your phone. Make sure that it is properly, will hold the current to support this charger device you're using that cord for.
Should you unplug like your coffee maker and
No,
your
I mean, I don't get,
toaster?
when I was growing up, my grandmother always did that. She always told you, got to unplug everything. That was the bottom line. You had to always unplug everything because you never know if that lightning storm was going to always come. That's what I was told when I was growing up. But I mean, today's day and age, a lot of stuff is allowed. You can still keep it plugged in. You don't need to unplug it. But, a good thing is, and I tell everyone, when you're going away on vacation, make sure everything's off. Make sure everything that you're not going to use. What does it matter if you unplug your coffee pot? You're not going to be home, unplug it.
What about a nightlight?
You can keep your nightlight on, but again, you want to make sure you buy a UL-approved nightlight that's not going to, you put a cheap bulb in it and something fails and breaks, that can cause an issue.
Save on the unnecessary and put the money into the necessary.
Exactly.
Go the extra mile for it. You only
Exactly.
get what you pay for, and that's your life you're talking about, not your crayons.
Exactly. I mean, and again, everything's, these stores do sell a lot of bargains, and it is, but you just got to make sure you're the bargain shopper when you're bargain shopper in safety.
Yeah,
Make sure you're
they could
buying
be afraid that, there's so many
Make sure
things
you're
could be
buying the
happening.
proper things. Make sure you're looking at when you're buying something that it's right, that it is going to work for what you need.
Well, even light bulbs, because in our restaurant we have so many light bulbs. I'm always looking to see what the highest volt is that you're able to put in.
Make sure the fixture you're buying the bulb for is going to support it.
Right.
Make sure that it is working for you. Make sure that, and that's one thing, you know what your fixture's wattage is, so you know what the bulb you're going to need. Don't go buy a bulb that's not, it might be too much for your fixture.
Is it safe to keep one of those on all night long? Like
Yeah.
a light in your house,
Well,
like
you
a
can
lamp
keep
or
it,
something?
Yeah. Keep a light
What
on.
about when you have a flickering light bulb? Is there something wrong with the fixture?
It could be. It could be a bulb, and it might be time
And
to
that could
replace
cause
it.
a fire.
I mean, it's now a lot of the new LED technology, you don't see too much of that anymore, which is good. But the older technology, the older Light bulbs, yes, you saw a lot of that.
Yeah, with some of the fixtures too. Like your fixture only lasts so long.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's, after so much, so many years and so much usage, it's time to replace it or upgrade.
How about Christmas lights?
Christmas lights, again, you want to inspect them every year. Make sure your cords are
Oh my God, those Christmas lights.
That there's no frays in them and there's no broken wires, especially with everyone that uses still the live Christmas trees, the real Christmas trees, and they're putting lights on them. Remember that tray dries out, that light, that wire. All you need is something just to spark, or you need a bulb to pop. And it happens. I mean, that does go on, but you want to make sure that you're buying. Again, it's all coming down to you want to be that bargain safety shopper that you're looking to get the right items.
Right. How about outside and inside lights?
Then that's a big thing. You want to make sure you're getting the right light. So if you're using it for a fixture outside, make sure it's rated for outside. And if it's used inside, make sure it's rated for inside. Because some lights, they're only rated for outside, they're only not rated for inside. So you want to make sure you're getting the right fixture.
Same thing with those extension cords.
Exactly.
I see some extension cords out there, those little thin brown things, and they're plugged in outside. I'm like, oh my God.
Yep.
Are you supposed to wrap them, like if you have 2 extension cords together, because do you wrap them?
Well, you can wrap.
plastic
Yeah,
over?
when I put my outside Christmas lights, I take electrical tape and put it around the connections just to try to seal it so no water gets in that connection. And that's a good practice to do. And I've seen it happen, and it helps you. I mean, because the bottom line is, if with snow and all that, with the rain, water seeps in there, it could trip the breaker.
What's the number one cause of fires in homes that you see?
Number one, it's a toss-up. It could be cooking. A lot of cooking incidents we see.
Good thing I don't cook.
Good thing you don't cook.
All right, I'm safe there.
I'm glad.
Good. It could be cooking. It could be, just careless. Careless. And I'm not saying carelessness. Could be electrical. Could be smoking.
If the candle's burning.
Candles, yeah. But I gotta say,
Smoking.
a lot of people have come to reality. Is a lot of people are using candle warmers now. They're not using the light. So they put the candle in the warmer and it goes getting a scent. But I think a lot of our incidents that we see is cooking.
Do less people smoke? As you see less?
Less people smoke. I mean, we see a lot less of that anymore. But every now and then, what you will see is the people aren't smoking in their house, so they go out on their front porch. They go out on their back porch. They're cigarette. And I'm a cigar smoker. I'm not going to say I don't smoke cigars. I make sure I put it out in an ashtray and I leave it out there. But a lot of people will put that cigarette out, and what do? They put it out and they throw it in the bag on your back porch, on your front porch. Well, then at 2 o'clock in the morning, your front porch is burning. So, again, the bottom line is make sure it's out. Put it in an ashtray. Leave it sit there for a day. What does it matter? Just leave it sit there.
Make sure
don't smoke.
Put some sand there. Don't smoke. Put it in a bucket. Yeah, put a bucket out there with sand. Make sure you put it in there, and that way you're guaranteed you're not going to have. Your best guarantee as possible, you're not going to have an incident.
My mother used to pour a little bit of water in the ashtray.
Pour water,
Just
exactly.
pour water on it and it's out.
Exactly,
And
it's going to go out.
We have about 2 minutes left, so give yourself a plug with the fire department. Do you take donations from?
Yeah, I mean, the Hazleton Fire Department, again, I will say I probably have the best. I'm very proud of my department. They do a great job each and every day. I have a great team. I have a great, they just really go out there and get the job done. But I also give a plug to everybody in this entire area in the fire departments. They really do a great job. They do work. They work hard. They're there each and every day. I mean, our call volume is increasing every day. We see it. We see it with motor vehicle accidents. We see it with fires. Call volume is busy. Is busy in the fire department. But again, I can't say enough. And again, not only you can support our department, your local department. Make sure you give them the support. They really do need it. Because bottom line is a lot of these departments are volunteers. They're people coming. Home from, they're doing their regular job and then coming out to work. I mean, I'm fortunate I'm able to work in the city. That's my full-time job, but a lot of these people come and do it for nothing, and they're working 2-3 jobs and then coming in and volunteering to protect you.
They're heroes.
They're heroes.
They're
Exactly.
definitely
They are.
heroes. You're all heroes to put your
Thank you.
life out there to save
Thank
other
you.
people's lives. And I'm telling you, when there is a fire and you watch and see what they're doing, it's incredible.
We got a little glimpse of it, and I never want to do that again.
Well,
And
thanks for
I-
coming back for another show. We're going to go back
Absolutely,
to the
we're
fire
gonna
station.
go-
Absolutely.
We're gonna go back up high.
Lori will fill in that day. I cannot fly back that weekend.
We got a
Sorry.
new ladder truck. You can come up in a ladder truck. We're
No.
only 4
Up
feet in
on
the
the
air.
ladder
Nope.
truck. We could put up your Christmas
No, I
lights.
can't hear you. Nope. Negatory. You guys come down and you can cook in my kitchen. Sage Bistro.
Listen, I do love to cook. I love to bake.
right.
I'm a
We
fan
know
of that.
about those cheesecakes that we're
Exactly.
still waiting.
Waiting,
Okay,
I'm
so
so
the next
hungry.
show we're going to be baking.
We're gonna be baking. There you
we
go.
should
That's a good
bake.
idea. That's a good idea.
We're going to be
Kitchen
lighting the fire in the
safety.
kitchen. Me and you said the kitchen
I like
fires are
that.
number
I think
one.
that's a great idea.
Let's light some fire
There
in
you
that
go.
kitchen, Janine, being that yours never gets used.
Well, mine does. I just
Hello.
don't. Jeff does all the cooking. I'll clean up when you guys are done.
All right, well, it's no joke. We're over here laughing. We're having a good time with it, but really get that checklist out. Check your kids' checklist for school.
Yell at
Check
your
your own
kids.
place. Make sure that you're safe. Know your house. Know your escape route. If you have any questions, call the chief. If you're watching in another area, call your own chief. Just find out.
And one thing is, your children go away. Make sure they know the important phone numbers. Like, yeah, 911's worldwide.
Yes.
But what if you have a question?
that's
Hospital
another.
location.
Here she goes.
Hospital locations, everything like that. Make sure they know the importance of where, if God forbid they need help, where to get help.
Exactly.
I told her right now.
Education,
Exactly.
education, and prevention. That's what we're all about. Okay.
That's what it's all about. All right, we'll see you next time.